pure telecom player as of now, but if you see majority of the companies, you saw Satya Nadella come to India, Sundar Pichai come to India, Mark Zuckerberg was here recently. The trend that one sees is that the line between telecom, between technology and between the so-called media companies is getting blurred. And now everybody is moving towards convergence. So going forward, 5 years down the line, where do you see Telenor to be?
I think you mentioned a key word yourself, namely that of convergence. You will see telecom players partnering with service content holders in many formats and many setups. And Telenor we will have our initiatives. We have one in financial services in other countries. We have on classifieds in other countries. The potential around education, partnership on education and medical distribution of medical knowledge and competence. Just you name it. There will be a lot more.
Mark Zuckerberg, also, because his was the most recent visit amongst the 3 top technology leaders that I mentioned, also spoke about Internet for all. For that to become a reality, he mentioned that government will have to play a critical role. The source of financing that is required might be possible from the government side, and everybody, when they participate in this endeavor together, we will see some success. To what extent do you agree with his idea, and what role do you see for the private players if the government were to carry forward this mandate? More often than not, whenever there's a business opportunity, you see the private players saying that the government should back off. Why do we need the government now? Because these are initiatives which the people have to take. Like you were pointing out, localized content, localized applications, localized services can only be provided by the local people.
I think it's not either or, it's probably both. It's interesting that the CEO of Facebook basically used the Telenor tagline on Internet for all. We've used that a couple of years already, and it originates from the ambition that we solidly believe that Internet access will be everyone's access format in the years to come. And then it also has the potential of including everyone, getting rid of the potential digital divide that is out there. However, the combination of strong infrastructure investments, low-priced, efficient-priced, affordable-priced handsets, together with attractive services. Attractive services, some of them global, some of them local. That's the 3 elements that needs to play in an aligned manner if Digital India is going to be realized.
But you spoke about handsets. Do you think that there is a price war that's happening in the handset space now? Earlier we were seeing telecom tariffs being played around with, but now you see that even the top telecom players the top technology companies are also trying to develop sub-$100 phones. Of course, sub-50 is, I think, the target for rural economies like India. Do you feel that the price war has now reached the handset space, and the telecom players are also going to be playing a significant and a major role in this?
I think we do. Mid-90s, we were, Telenor was part of an initiative between operators and handset manufacturers to get the price tag of the feature phone below 50, below 40, below 35, below 30. And it was in that sequence of events when the phone reached below 30 that we had an explosion in take-up rate for mobile phones. And I think the same will basically happen with smartphones. And a country like China in these days are deploying up to 400 million smartphones in 1 year. And of course that have a scale effect that will take unit prices down over a period of time.
And is Telenor partnering with any handset manufacturer? We are seeing that the bigger telecom players in India, at the least, whether it's a Bharti Airtel or a Vodafone, or for that matter a Reliance, an Idea as well, are playing an active role in engaging with handset manufacturers, but we've not heard anything from Telenor as yet. So what is it that you are planning to do to tap this potential that exists in the market?
At the global arena, we're doing that. In India, though, the supply of feature phones, which is capable of running 2G, which is our network here in India, then we feel that there is a sufficient supply of that kind of handsets. In the future, when the broader customer base will start to use smartphones, we will have to evaluate as to whether we're also going to participate in that part of the value chain, as we do, by the way, in other markets where we have 3G spectrum and 3G operations.
But now that spectrum trading is something and spectrum sharing is something that is pretty much allowed by the government, are you going to be looking at those partnerships for deploying 3G and 4G spectrum, which is held by other operators?
That is a possibility, but you mentioned the key word yourself, more or less, which means that the detailed regulation of this still remains to be properly defined and properly understood.
In terms of the overall regulatory framework, we are seeing an active engagement by the TRAI. There is a broadband policy that it is trying to implement. Have you had an opportunity to go through the fine print? And if yes, what do you feel are the key priority areas that the TRAI and the government could focus on as far as regulating broadband services in the country?
The number one key area is access to spectrum. Spectrum is the real energizer for our industry, and spectrum is needed in order to be able to produce bandwidth. That's the key word for this going forward.
And management of services, what are your learnings from other markets that could be implemented in India? Because as far as broadband is concerned, it's still in its nascent stages, whether it's in terms of penetration or in terms of regulation.
Yeah, I think you again have the key words yourself, more or less. The key is basically that there is a regulatory framework that incentivizes investments, that there is a level playing field at play, and that the processes around it are transparent. And if these kind of things comes forward with more spectrum at the bottom of this, I think we have a flourishing market also for telecoms, reaching out to all of India's populations in the years to come.
Well, as always, availability of spectrum remains a contentious issue in India. But when you look at the global arena, and particularly the Asian countries, you have got presence in more or less, I think, around 6 countries as of now. What are your expansion plans for Asia? And when you compare other Asian countries that you're present in and in India, are there any learnings that you've taken from India and implemented elsewhere?
Oh yes, it sure is. The Telenor organization has developed competencies that we now put in play in Myanmar, where we opened a new service offering just 14 days ago. And only in 14 days of operation, we have reached 500,000 customers in a country which have been restricted from mobile services for many, many years. And it's an explosion. It's a surge in demand for these modern services, which the country have been lacking. And the whole of the Telenor group is contributing, Uninor included.
Well, Fredrik, it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for your time, and best wishes to you for your expansion plans. And we really hope you are going to be able to achieve your target of Internet for all, at least in India, because that is not only going to be beneficial for your company, but it is also going to benefit the population at large. Thank you for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you. We were in conversation with Fredrik Baksaas on the ghats of the Ganges here in Varanasi. Thank you for watching.